Hello friends, welcome back. In this video, we are going to learn about Hibernate validation. Hibernate validation. So, what is the importance of validating your input data? The number one importance of validating your input data is that it ensures that your input data is clean. Assume, for example, for the case of banking application, you want to send a request whereby the account number, the account holder name, the balance, account type is empty. What will happen? This will result into so many unclean data with so many null values, data with so many empty values, and this is not efficient. Cleaning such a mess may take a lot of effort. Therefore, Spring Boot offers Hibernate validation as a way to validate your data. Let's get started. For you to begin this tutorial, you need to navigate to start.spring.io. Start.spring.io. Inside here, go and search for a dependency. Search for validation. So this is the Hibernate validate that we want. If you explore it, you will see that this is the dependency that we want, Spring Boot Starter Validation. So add this dependency to your pom.xml. I have already done that. The next thing will be for me to define a custom error class, how I want my error to be formatted. In this case, I'm going to create a new Java class. I will call this custom API error response. So I will add getters and setters. At getter, hope by now you know what is the purpose of at getter. And at setter, I will add all arg constructors, and I will add at no args constructor. So I will define three fields. The first one is private int response code. The other one is private string message. The other one is private map. This is a key value pair where the key is a string and the value is also a string, and I will call this error. So I will import my map from java.util. After that, I will proceed to my account class and start adding these validations. So the first validator that I am going to add is at not null. So at not null will come from jakarta.validation.constraint.notNull. So inside here, I will put a message. So I will say message. Whenever this field is null, what should be displayed? It should display account number cannot be null, or account number is required. So this means that account number will now be a mandatory field. So I will add other, like in this case, I want to go to account holder name. For this one, I will use at not blank, account holder's name at not blank. Then the message I will say, account holder's name is required. In case a person does not supply account holder's name. So I will say account holder name is required. The other one is balance. This double balance, I will add at not null, at not null. So which message? I will then define a message and say balance is required. Balance is required. Then account type. Account type. For the balance also, there is another annotation called at mean. So I want to define a mean value, and let me import this. Import class mean. So this will take a value. So the value that I am going to pass here is equals to 0. Then the message is balance cannot be negative. This means that if you enter a balance that is less than 0, it will display an error that balance cannot be negative. The other one, I think, is account type. I will validate this account type. So this one I will put at not blank, account type. So I will say account type is required. Account type is required. Now I am done with that. The next thing is to go inside my exemption handler, custom exemption handler. So inside my exemption, I will go to this global exemption handler and do the exemption handling. So I will write at exception handler. Inside here, what are we handling? The type of exemption we are handling is method argument not valid exemption. Method argument not valid exemption. Method argument not valid exemption. Then I will create a class. So I will say public response entity. So I will pass a custom API error response, and I will call this handle validation. This is just a method name, but you should name it according to what it is doing. Handle validation exceptions. Then it will take a method argument not valid exemption ex, and then let me now go to the body. This one should be class. Let me now go to the body. The very first thing that I will do is define a map of string. This I will call it errors. So I will use a map implementation called hash map. New hash map. So I will say new hash map. So I want to loop through each and every field and get the exact error, and then map that error to our custom API response. How do we do that? So I will say for field error in errors. So I am going through my map for field error in errors. for field error in ex dot get binding result dot get field errors. So basically what will happen is that I am going through the fields that you are supplying in the body, and then I am fetching the errors. Then I want to map these errors. I want to put these errors inside my map. So I will say errors.put. So the first key that I will put is error dot get field. So I want to put the name of the field, then error dot get default method dot get default message. There we go. Then now inside my hash map, I will have the field and its corresponding message for the error. Now I want to map this into my custom API response. So basically what I will do, I will create an object for custom API error response. Custom API error response is equals to new custom custom API error response. Then I will say custom API error response dot set response code. So which will be the response code? It will be http, basically http status dot bad request dot value. Then custom API response dot set. So we want to set the message. So what will be the message? The message here we can say these are validation errors. Validation errors. Now let us set the actual error. Custom API response dot set error. So this is a key value pair. So I will set the errors. Okay. Then I will return new response entity. I will return a new response entity. So what will be the new response entity? It will be custom API response, then http status dot bad request dot bad underscore request. And I think I am done with this. So basically what I will do, the very last thing that I will do is to go inside my controller class for the account controller, and inside the body where we are adding our post mapping, inside the body here I will add a notation at valid. So at valid will ensure that it will enforce the validation of our fields that we are passing inside the postman body. Let me test the code. So let us run the code and see how the whole thing works. Let us go to the postman. So I want to pass the account number, account holder's name, balance, and account type to be empty, and see the magic behind the Hibernate validator. So my code is building. Let us give it a few minutes to build. So I did not mention that Hibernate validation also help in input validation and sanitization. When you sanitize your input, you prevent your application from being vulnerable to some type of attacks like XCSS attacks and cross-site resource forgery attacks. So